A biting November wind howled through the skeletal branches of the ancient oaks that clawed at the sky surrounding Blackwood Manor. For Eleanor Ainsworth, newly arrived from the bustling anonymity of Chicago to the isolated hamlet of Hollow Creek, Pennsylvania, the manor represented a fresh start, a chance to escape the suffocating grief that clung to her after her husband's untimely death. She had inherited the estate from a distant and she'd never met, a woman whispered about in hushed tones as Agatha. The house itself was a brooding Gothic monstrosity, its grey stone facade stained with creeping ivy and punctuated by narrow, arched windows that seemed to stare out with malevolent intent. The local real estate agent, a nervous man named Mr. Peterson, had practically sprinted away after handing over the keys, muttering something about unsettled history. Eleanor, however, was determined. She needed solace, and the isolation of Blackwood Manor promised just that. The first few days were spent exploring the labyrinthine interior. Thus motes danced in the shafts of pale sunlight that pierced the gloom, illuminating cobweb-draped furniture and portraits of stern-faced ancestors. Eleanor found the library filled with leather-bound volumes on obscure subjects of alchemy, demonology, and local folklore filled the shelves. She dismissed it as the eccentricity of her aunt, but a persistent unease began to gnaw at her. A feeling of being watched, a cold spot in the hallway, a faint, rhythmic thumping that seemed to emanate from the walls. One afternoon, while cleaning out the attic, Eleanor stumbled upon a locked trunk tucked away in a dark corner. It was heavy, bound with rusted iron straps, and exuded an aura of profound rawness. After several failed attempts, she managed to pry it open. Inside, nestled among yellowed silk and moth-eaten velvet, was a strange contraption or a clockwork mechanism of polished brass and intricate gears. It was shaped like a human heart. As she reached out to touch it, the thumping she had heard earlier intensified. The heart machine shuddered to life, its gears whirring with a disturbing, organic rhythm. A wave of dizziness washed over Eleanor, and she saw a fleeting vision of a woman in a long, white gown, screaming in agony, her face contorted in terror. The vision vanished as quickly as it came, leaving Eleanor gasping for breath. Over the next few days, Eleanor became obsessed with the heart machine. She spent hours examining it, trying to understand its purpose. The thumping grew louder, more insistent, and the visions became more frequent and vivid. She saw Agatha performing some kind of dark ritual, surrounded by flickering candles, her eyes wide with manic fervor. She saw the same woman in white, strapped to a table, her chest laid bare. Driven by a morbid curiosity, Eleanor consulted the library's arcane texts. She discovered a legend of a Blackwood ancestor who had been obsessed with immortality, believing that the essence of life could be captured and transferred through mechanical means. A failed experiment, the books hinted, had resulted in a terrible curse upon the family. One night, the thumping became deafening. Eleanor felt a powerful compulsion to return to the attic. When she arrived, the heart machine was glowing with an eerie, pulsating light. The room was filled with a chilling presence. The air crackled with unseen energy. Then she saw her. The woman in white, a spectral figure radiating pain and despair, materialized before her. Her eyes, hollow sockets filled with an unbearable sorrow, fixed on Eleanor. The ghost reached out a translucent hand, her touch sending a jolt of icy terror through Eleanor's veins. "Release me," the ghost whispered, her voice a raspy echo of suffering. "It stole my heart, trapped my soul," Eleanor understood. The heart machine was not just a machine, it was a prison, containing the stolen life force of the woman in white, a victim of Agatha's twisted ambition. With trembling hands, Eleanor reached for the machine. The ghost pleaded with her, its desperation palpable. But as Eleanor's fingers closed around the cold metal, she hesitated. A dark voice echoed in her mind, a voice that sounded disturbingly like her own. "Immortality power, it can be yours." The voice promised an end to her grief, a chance to cheat death itself. She looked back at the ghost, its spectral form shimmering with agony. Then she looked at the heart machine, its rhythmic pulsing now mirroring her own heartbeat. The temptation was overwhelming. In that moment, she made her choice. She smashed the heart machine against the stone floor, shattering it into 1,000 pieces. The thumping stopped. The light vanished. The ghost faded away, a look of serene peace finally gracing its ethereal face. But as the last echo of the ghost's release faded into the silence, Eleanor felt a sharp pain in her chest. She looked down and saw a dark stain spraying across her blouse. Her own heart was slowing, its rhythm faltering. The curse had not been broken, it had merely been transferred. Blackwood Manor had claimed another victim. Eleanor collapsed onto the floor, the broken pieces of the heart machine digging into her skin. As darkness closed in, she heard a faint ticking sound, growing louder and louder, until it filled her entire being. The ticking of her own dying heart, forever trapped within the walls of Blackwood Manor.